with our last best of three of the night and our last semifinal here. This time around, it's Misfits versus Legendary. And we can see the picks and bans already being fired out. Rengar, of course, being taken away from Acadian in the top lane.
All right, no surprises there. They're going to take away some of those comfort picks for Acadian. Cloud9 talked about how they have a lot of respect for him as a player. They want to make sure he doesn't get what he's comfortable with. Looks like Misfits have a similar strategy. Of course, we saw Baby in the previous games kind of bust out some amazing Thresh play. Well, Baby is great. Baby is a phenomenal Thresh player, but we rarely see Ramelia miss a hook ever. So no surprises there to see that one banned out. Want to make sure they take away that comfort pick. Callista banned away as well. And for those of you who haven't noticed yet, there's some new additions to this Misfits lineup, and this is going to be one of the big talking points, is they have picked up Stixay from CLG Black. So a massive roster swap, one of the strongest, if not the strongest AD carry in the challenger scene, now added to a lineup already considered the strong. It's insane. It's an insane roster move.
Yeah, this is going to be one heck of a game. And as you can see, with that pickup, they have no problems whatsoever going straight in to grab up that 80 carry role. Sivir going to get locked in this time around. So we'll see that one. And this is actually something that we haven't seen get through tonight. Cassiopeia is on the board, and I wouldn't be too shocked if we see that one snatched up here for Legendary. We saw that at MSI and how much power and how much contention that pick was under between teams like EDG. So, of course, it is going to get locked in as well as Nunu. So we have potentially a top laner, more likely the mid laner for Bishu coming in, as well as the jungle for Dardoch.
So I'm not 100% sure. I do have to admit that if Stixay is a permanent addition or not. But he is going to be playing for these games tonight, and that's the important thing here. And with this Sivir locked in already, we've seen exactly how powerful Sivir can be in our last best of three series, exactly what you can do when you have more of a team fighting composition positioned here to do so well. On the opposite side, though, Bishu on this Cassio, this has been pretty consistently taken away from him. And it looks like he's going to be pretty comfortable on this, though. Acadian, known for more unconventional picks, could easily pick this one up himself. So neither side really giving away too much here. And we're going to have to see what Misfits locks in. But both of these team comps looking pretty flexible already, as it looks like we will have the Alistar and the Gnar picked up. Ramelia going to take her chances with the Alistar in the bot lane.
Yeah, so we did see this one snatched up, I believe, in that first game between Cloud9 Tempest and Frank Fang Gaming. Didn't quite work out so well. Or maybe it was the second one. I forget. It was one of those games, but it didn't work out so well from what I recall here. But Gnar, of course, coming in. We have seen a plethora of him. He's come back in such a huge way in the last couple of weeks, of course. So not surprising whatsoever. He's a very safe AD carry. I mean, you can counterpick him, but he has that mini Gnar form in which he can rely on to sit back, throw out those boomerangs, get some harass off, as well as keep his CS up. Going back into this next round of picks, however, looks like we might see this bot lane for the side of Legendary coming to fruition. Looking like Morgana Jinx maybe getting picked up, which makes for a lot of, just rooted CC coming in. You got that Dark Binding followed up by the Chompers. Can make for a heck of a lot of damage early on, but actually, no, going to flip right over, pick up the Gianna instead, actually.
Well, we'll have to see how this bot lane works out. Law Pally has proved himself to be one of the strongest supports, may even be able to go to toe-to-toe with Ramelia. Ramelia, of course, on that Alistar. Going to be able to engage pretty reliably, but Janna going to be able to disengage just as well. Now, one of the things that I like so far from what the Misfits have picked up is that they have given this Gnar pick over to RF Legendary, and this Gnar is an excellent pick for him for a multitude of reasons. Not only does it allow for solo lane dominance, his kind of overall play style right now, how he likes to perform with that Mega Gnar form, also allows him to be pretty solid in those team fights. And if he can find an early lead, a lot of build path flexibility too. Might build a Black Cleaver and a Frozen Mallet, a little more AD focus. We'll have to see how well he does in lanes. Obviously, though, solo queue style from RF kind of been changing more to a team fight style. Acadian on the opposite side in a similar boat and saving that last pick potentially for him in the top lane. We'll have to see what matchup he picks. And we've seen him play some standard stuff, but it's mostly been pretty unconventional. He really likes the Yasuo pick. He tends to bust it out at some pretty random times, honestly. I'm curious to see if this is one of them, but the last pick's getting hovered over here, and this is a pretty sudden change.
Ooh.
Looks like Evelyn and TF locked in.
Okay. I really like the Evelyn pickup here. A little bit different and not something that we see too much of too often. But if I do recall correctly, EDG played this in game five and were able to take down SKT1 at MSI using the Evelyn in the jungle. So going to be a solid pickup. Alberto proving himself time and time again that he is still one of the top junglers out there. So gonna look to prove that even more so now with that pickup coming in. But yeah, Twisted Fate going to be in the mid lane for Alex Each.
Alex Each, without a doubt, the strongest mid laner in Challenger currently. Bishu has held that position himself in the past, so we'll have to see if they can kind of shift the dynamic of power here. But the Evelyn is a huge talking point. As you said, clear love for EDG. Picked this up in the final match. And Alberto, he was on the analyst desk. He got to watch those games in depth, got to be there, got to see exactly how this pick works out if he hasn't already been practicing himself. And so he's got a lot more experience with this than a lot of other people in the scene right now. And we've seen exactly what this pick can do early on, and it can be absolutely lethal. The final pick, though, going to be this Mundo for Acadian.
Yeah, and this is a little bit more of an interesting pick and not something that we see too much of in the top lane these days. Every now and then it gets pulled out. But for the most part, this is going to be a little bit more of an oddball style choice coming in for with this Dr. Mundo. Of course, he does have that infected cleaver, so it does get a good amount of damage off that one. Can deal with fairly tanky champions like Gnar and should be able to harass him decently early on. But he's got to be wary of that harass that RF is going to be able to fire back just as easily. He has that boomerang. He has that range off of his auto attacks as long as he's in mini Gnar form. So gonna have to play this one very carefully. I'm interested though to see, of course, he is the shining star on the team of Misfits. I'm interested to see how Alex Each is going to play this TF into Bishu's Cassiopeia.
This is going to be a pretty intense matchup for sure. Of course, TF always going to be able to have those gold cards, and with an Evelyn, with Ignite, nonetheless, coming into that mid lane, Bishu's going to have to be incredibly careful. And vision control has been solid from Legendary, but it hasn't been amazing, and it's going to be even harder for them to establish effective vision control when you have a jungler who's invisible half the time anyway. So
Yeah.
this is an oppressive lineup, without a doubt, on the side of Misfits. And while you can easily argue that the late game scaling is in the favor of Legendary, they may not even get the opportunity to go into late game, just given the raw power and the mobility present in this Misfits lineup.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of wombo combo potential here. You have that Evelyn ultimate to get that slow out combined with the pulverize from Alistar, massive AoE knockup, and then of course that Mega Gnar ultimate coming out from RF. There's a lot here for Misfits to play with. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do that to 100% or if Legendary are going to come back. We already saw Cloud9 Tempest get toppled, so maybe Legendary can come up with a little bit of an upset of their own and take down Misfits. We'll have to see when we come back from a brief little break as these guys load onto the Rift. But when we come back, it's this first game in a best of three, Misfits versus Legendary. Don't go anywhere, guys, because this is a series that you don't want to miss. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for our first match in the last best of three in the semifinals. My name is Kilios. With me, Senpai. We are here on the blue side. It is Misfits. RF in the top on Gnar. Alberto in the jungle on Evelyn. Alex each in the mid lane on that Twisted Fate. And rounding out the bot side, it's Stixay subbing in with Sivir and Remilia on Alistar.
These are two of the most exciting lineups, but of course, starting up for Legendary, it's going to be Acadian in the top lane on that Mundo, Dardoch in the jungle on that Nunu, Bishu in the mid lane on Cassio, Impactful and Law Pally in the bot lane, Jinx and Janna, respectively. And now I wasn't sure where we were going to see jungle pressure, where exactly Alberto was going to show up, but if mid lane wasn't already a good option, the fact that Alex each and Alberto have the matching tango skins may be a pretty good indication of where we can expect the pressure to go down.
Yeah. And speaking of pressure, I'd like to note that just taking a look at Misfits right now, Alberto has Ignite. He has Smite Ignite. He is going to be looking to go so aggressive with these gangs, lay down that Ignite and confirm the kills. Going to be really good to make up for that lack thereof in the mid lane. Of course, with Twisted Fate, you do want to run that Flash Ghost most of the time. So it should help him confirm those kills when he comes and pays some visits, against Bishu in that mid lane, because it's a pretty squishy Cassiopeia. Won't take too much for them to lock her down and burn her out.
And while the mid lane may be a huge point of focus for the Misfits with this Evelyn pick, they also have to be careful about this bot lane. Stixay, an incredibly talented AD carry, but with very limited experience playing with Remilia here. On the opposite side, though, Impactful and Law Pally, two players who have spent a lot of time together, may have a bit of an advantage. We're going to have to see as both sides have decided to go for the lane swap, so they won't even meet head-to-head here, and an interesting choice from Impactful and Law Pally to avoid this matchup.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you bring up here, that Stixay and Remilia might be lacking that synergy that could be, very necessary for them to get ahead and really command this game. We've seen Remilia perform time and time again, in the past, but with this newer AD carry, the question really is that going to work out in their favor? Of course, this time around, right now, they do have the lane for free. RF in the top side, all on his lonesome. Remilia on her way up to try to give him some support. Having that heal around should help out significantly with the Triumphant Roar and keep some sustain up on him. As you can see, Low Valley just playing quite far forward as they trade blows in that top side of the map.
And just more than happy to trade blows there with that Eye of the Storm Shield. Of course, Alistar now returning to the top lane. So it looks like they're kind of just going to resign themselves to the 2v2 on the top side, the 1v1 on the bottom. Sivir should be pretty comfortable to trade with this Mundo. And RF, maybe not the best character to 2v2 with this Gnar instead of like a conventional AD carry, but has the range to farm safely, has that boomerang, and you can already see like farming pretty well given that he didn't have a smite and didn't get to start with the jungle camp. Mundo, of course, with a small lead, due mostly to the fact that he got to duo jungle with Nunu early on, and we're really going to have to see where this jungle pressure ends up. Crumbzz has yet to find an opportunity to gank, went back before finishing his first clear to finish up that item, and now can be anywhere once he gets this red buff. And really, this early game will be defined by where Crumbzz places his pressure and if they can kind of weather the storm of the early Evelyn ganks.
Yeah, and this early on, it's like you said, Alberto can be anywhere with his Evelyn, and it's going to be so hard to predict those movements because you're unable to come into this with a pink ward. We can see he's already getting some pressure down onto Bishu in this mid lane, just really throwing on a couple auto attacks, but already with that squishy Cassiopeia, rips off about 40% of his HP. So, going to be just showing face across the map periodically here. Meanwhile, Dardoch getting a little bit of some invasive play over onto the Gromp. We'll be able to steal that one away. We might see some visit into the top side of the map, but with an Alistar and, a Gnar that is able to just leap away, you got that headbutt as well for some disengage, likely not going to be seeing too much time paid up into this top lane.
And it's just really, as you said, not a great opportunity to gank there, but Acadian could be in trouble.
Yeah, getting caught out. That's going to be the red buff ticking onto him as well. He does not have Flash in his ultimate, not available. He's going to go down. It's first blood going over to Alex each as he finishes him off with that card. That is a fantastic start from Misfits on the whole, especially for the Russian mid laner. Now going to be able to go back and pick up some early items here. Falling a little bit behind in CS because of that roam, but I think he's going to be quite happy with that acquisition.
This is already an incredibly aggressive start coming in from this team, and using this pick quite well. It didn't really happen in the mid lane for them. They got a little bit of damage down on a Bishu. You see these two guys kind of going head to head here. Dardoch zoning out there. And that early advantage is going to help out TF immensely. Already going to be able to clear the waves pretty easily as he approaches higher and higher in levels, but getting closer to level 6, the TF ultimate combined with that Evelynn presence to be anywhere on the map. This is an absolutely lethal team in the early game, and this first kill going down before the 5-minute mark is a pretty big advantage, and they have to be careful. The TF won't snowball out of control, but the Evelynn easily can.
Yeah, well, they're looking to make that happen as he tries to lock Bishu down. He will burn his flash out as Alberto shows up. That's going to be another yellow card connecting just a few more attacks. One more. Can they get the confirm? Alberto, no ignite, but they dive in. Alberto will eat up the tower shots. The kill goes over to him as well, but now in a bad spot as Dardoch comes around the side. AlphaDraft trying to play far forward. He has the yellow card pulled. Dardoch will back off. So far, a fantastic start from Misfits. 2 kills on the board, 700 gold up.
And there's just nothing they can do against this pair as AlphaDraft approaches level 6. It's so early in the game, and already a kill and an assist for both the jungler and the mid laner. And this is, as we said, pressure. Pressure, the theme of all of these games as we move into the semifinals, and Stixxay farming pretty comfortably, a little bit behind Impactful. Of course, late game still on the side of Legendary here. They have a lot of opportunities to come back. They've got a great scaling late pick with the Mundo on Smite. They've got excellent power in the Jinx and in the Cassio, but right now, they are definitely the weaker team, not even taking into account the difference in gold already established, but Alberto and Alex each out for blood here. You see Evelynn working on that warrior enchantment. We'll have to see if they can transition this into a next objective, and taking Dragon for them this early on should be quite easily, honestly.
Yeah, and something really to keep in mind here, especially with Bishu getting camped out almost by Alberto. He, of course, has to start with the Tear of the Goddess. That is the staple item for Cassiopeia, and that delays his damage output so much compared to AlphaDraft, who has that Fiendish Codex, who has that Forbidden Idol already completed. He's going to be pumping out damage by comparison here. And of course, he also has that near global pressure with the Destiny. He can be just about anywhere at any time, as can Alberto with his Evelynn. There's so much pressure that Misfits are able to lay down right now. As we can see, Remelia roaming up to the top. Yellow card is pulled for Alex Each as Dardoch tries to go in here. He's laying down the damage, throwing out the wild cards as best as he can, but Remelia taking too much. Has to flash away. So a little bit of a botched roam here by the Alistar. They will get out alive. Misfits still in the lead, but gonna have to play a bit more carefully there.
Some clever play and some clever movement coming in from Legendary as a squad. They are able to get the flash off on Alistar. He's not level 6 yet, so that does leave him quite vulnerable to an all-in here. We'll have to see if they can punish that use of the Summoner spell. Alex Each similarly has the Ghost, but no flash at his disposal. They need to find a hard engage. They need to really force something like that, but it's going to be hard for them to do so. They don't really have a whole lot of hard CC. They have the Janet Tornado, and they have the Cassiopeia Petrifying Gaze. Outside of that, and the Flame Chompers. But outside of that, no real lockdown. It's not a Gnar, it's not a TF, and it's not an Alistar, so just a lot easier kind of CC on the side of Misfits.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Acadian being chunked down by RF, now going to have to be on the run. Of course, does have that Burning Agony just taking away his HP. But this is Legendary looking to get their first objective take of the map. They will go ahead and snatch up first Dragon of the game there at the 8-minute and just about the 8-minute 45-second mark. So we will see that one coming back up just under 15 minutes into this game.
And when you have a lineup,
not really aware of that one. Gank in the mid lane coming through as Bishu gets locked up, gets a nice Petrifying Gaze onto Alberto. Look at that damage coming through the Noxious Blast. They will trade 1-for-1. Alex Each not able to punch out the damage fast enough. Alberto actually walking away with that kill, and now 2-1-1. But really good by Bishu to be able to pull a kill out of that 1v2 situation.
And an impressive reaction speed, instant Petrifying Gaze, able to turn that one around. This is kind of what we've come to expect from Bishu, an incredibly confident mid laner. Kind of had a hiatus from League of Legends for a while to pursue other things, but is coming back, and apparently coming back strong. So good on him to turn that one around, but still, 1-for-1 trade overall, and you have to be careful. Talked about how strong this Evelynn would be if it continued to get kills, and Alberto now 2-1-1, finishing that enchantment so early on. They have to be careful. They have to respect this. Alex Each still has that Ghost, can get on top of Bishu anytime that ultimate is available. Alberto can do the same.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the bot lane of Legendary playing quite far forward, trying to get some harass and keep Stixxay relegated underneath of that tower. Not quite gonna happen. He's keeping up relatively well in CS, just 3 down, tied in items for the most part. BF sword for both of these AD carries. So far, impactful, opponent 23 doing a pretty decent job here against Stixay. We weren't sure how this matchup was going to go given, Stixay's record. Amelia looking for the engage. That Pulverize is not going to connect. A very nice Howling Gale will completely disengage that entire Gag, just completely being botched out on the hunt now. Down for Stixay, and Alberto not even able to get within, range just even to throw off a hate spike.
And a rare misstep from Emilio there, fumbling the headbutt pulverize combo. So a little strange to see her drop the ball on that one, but it worked out well for them, and an excellent disengage coming in from Law Poly. He's, a player that has a lot of respect in the scene. He has a long track record with a lot of these guys and has done pretty well for himself overall. Alex Each, though, not going to get engaged on Bishu. I saw the snake waiting in the grass. Thought they would go for the engage. Didn't happen. But still, already the ping war is getting cleared out as well. And Misfits have a lot of control on this map, honestly. The fact that they can be anywhere is impressive, and it allows them a lot more flexibility in the plays that they try to make. But this whole legendary lineup doesn't seem too deterred, despite having a small gold disadvantage, and looking actually pretty confident.
Yeah, Alex Cheech now popping the ghost, going to try to get in on Dardoch, who is running around the wall the wrong way. They will cancel that absolute zero. Looks like Dardoch may go down in this one, but no, it looks like Alberto might be the one that falls. The Ice Blast connects, but he actually will not fall. The Ignite not going to be enough to take him down. They pick up 2 kills there. 1 going over to Alex Cheech now, 2-0, and 3 the other. Over to Alberto. Nice acquisitions there in the mid lane. Should open up some pressure onto that tower. We can see Acadian running his way down there, trying to stop this damage from coming through, but they may be able to go ahead and take this one. If not, they're going to get it very, very close. It will, in fact, go down. Amelia, though, making up for lost time with that last botch pulverize. Goes in on the low battle. The Ignite is ticking, but Stixay getting engaged on. That's a teleport in the backside. Acadian will help secure that kill, but now here comes Alex Each. He's underneath the tower, taking so much damage. Impactful, he's going to be able to get a double kill. That's going to be a huge pickup for the Jinx, and going to help spiral that bot lane out of control for Legendary. Little bit of missteps coming from Misfits on the bot side of the map.
All right, take a break, Achilleos. You did good. They've stopped killing each other, at least for a moment. Let's talk about what happened, what went down there. Of course, a beautiful TP coming in from RF Legendary. Didn't end up getting a kill or an assist, but just by forcing that TP there, denied that exit route for Dardoch, so secured the 2-for-1 exchange, and an excellent play from Alberto and Alex Each, of course, in the bot lane. A massive misstep from Alex Each, a little too aggressive to go for that kill. Turns against him despite the Super Mega Death Rocket missing. He has to path away from it and takes another turret shot as a result, securing the trade over there. I was wondering why Acadian waited so long to TP, why he didn't respond to RF Legendaries, but he, in his own way, turned that one around in the bot lane, was able to get something back. So honestly, despite Misfits being considered the superior team overall and kind of showing it in the first 10 minutes, Legendary are very much still in this and are keeping up now with the map-wide plays being made by Misfits, despite not having anywhere near the same amount of mobility. Turret going down in the top lane.
Yeah, so Misfits showing that they're capable of having some missteps here. Like you said, I think Alex Each really kind of believed in that yellow card that he threw onto Lopal. He thought it was going to confirm the kill, but just wasn't quite able to do that. And rather than letting Lopal get away, he decided to go in, try to get that kill. He did get it, but pays for it himself, so not really worth. And getting that double kill over onto this Jinx, who is just throwing on the damage onto Stixay. A very nice headbutt will disengage that, but you can see Stixay just getting absolutely ripped through. And now Dardoch in the bot side as he gets slowed up. Remilia getting taken so low. Look at that rocket, the flash forward, the flash out by Stixay will keep him alive. Impactful opponent not able to find that kill quite just yet, but Alberto in such a bad spot. He has to pop the ultimate just to get the slow, but look at that damage coming through. Bishu ripping straight through him, takes him down, and that's in perfect time for the dragon to spawn in 20 seconds.
And I was so surprised that zap did not hit, did not secure that kill on a Stixay, but good flash, good movement from him, such solid patience on those summoner spells. But Bishu turning that one around, boxing Alberto in. That stealth pretty useless in that situation.
Trying to turn this one around. A fantastic petrifying gaze on the Alex Each, and look at him, he gets melted through. Acadian will find that kill. Now Bishu cutting as best as he can, but it doesn't matter. RF will find the kill. That infected cleaver will not connect. RF will be able to walk out with his life, but They trade mid from mid, but one goes to Bishu, the other going to the top lane. Gnar. Good pickups there on the hold by Legendary, and now they start up the second dragon of the game, and they're going to be able to take this with relative ease. Consume Smite for Dardoch. It's near impossible to steal away from, and Misfits are just not in a position to try to contest that whatsoever. And this is Legendary just swinging themselves right back into the driver's seat of this game. Sure, they're still down in gold, but that's almost entirely being made up by in towers. With that second dragon buff, they should be able to push down quite well with this Jinx, with the minigun. This is Legendary coming up so huge in a game that we anticipated to be a much more uphill battle for them.
Well, they're still behind, 3K deficit. They have the first two dragons, though, and we've seen exactly how quickly Jinx can rip through those towers. I mean, without a buff. But now you give her the extra 10% damage to towers. If they ever leave Impactful alone, he will take everything from them. And now, all this map mobility, everything that Misfits has, they've just been able to kind of casually use these ultimates to get kills across the map. Use of this gold card, it's an easy setup to pull off. Have to be careful about when they choose to fight, because as we're probably going to get to see right now, Impactful is going to destroy this turret.
Yeah, look at that damage, just ripping through. Amelia just sitting there watching this thing crumble before her eyes. Nothing that she can do with which to stop. And now that gold lead just shrinking quite a bit. Only 2.2k in the lead here is Misfits. And as we've been discussing, the scaling potential on the side of Legendary is just absolutely almost incomprehensible. This Jinx can go so high through the roof compared to this Sivir, who's going to cap. They have a ceiling as far as they can go with damage output. With Impactful plus 23, he's going to be able to just keep scaling through the roof, as is Bishu with his Cassiopeia, who has had a rough start, but he's beginning to swing back into this game. Vermelia doing what she can to stop this tower take. You see that one being taken down to about 70% HP already. Now RF playing quite far forward, almost has that Mega Gnar. Meanwhile on the bot side, Stixay getting that split push on, takes down the tower, looking to take it to the tier 2. So this is some really good split going on by Misfits.
Katie may be able to take this tower. Is going to have to back off here. RF Legendary and Mega Gnar form as he comes up there, but Stixay and Remelia determined to push this one out. Alberta waiting off to the side. So at this point in the game, the gold lead about 3k in the favor of Misfits. As we mentioned earlier, they do not have the late game scaling in their favor, but what they do have is this Evelynn with the Sightstone, creating such a huge vision advantage along with the Alistar and the potential to force a fight at any moment. So on the side of Legendary, they need to be patient, they need to play safe, and quite frankly, they need to wait. They need to be careful about the fights they pick. On the side of Misfits, they need to make it happen. They need to find a pick, they need to find and engage, and they need to outmaneuver their opponents. So far, they've done a good job. They've built themselves a 3k gold lead, but they keep making those small missteps. If they keep letting Impactful get kills, we talked about the uphill battle for Legendary. It's going to be very quickly an uphill battle for Misfits.
Yeah, and the major tools that Misfits have to engage onto Impactful, they have to get right up in the face of all of Legendary. So it's such a risky play unless they can pick him out. Unless they can get a massive Mega Gnar ultimate from RF, it's going to be so difficult for Misfits to really lock him down well, because not only do they have to leap into the back line, they also have to worry about this Petrifying Gaze from Bishu, which can just stop them and hold them right in their tracks. So Misfits, still in the lead, but this game is very even right now, and I would not be surprised if Legendary is able to take a game, take this first game.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, quite frankly. Bishu has this Cassio pick that he's so comfortable with. Misfits, obviously a very powerful lineup, but coming in with a sub and maybe, shifting a lot of the pressure off of Stixay by putting him on this Sivir where he can use the On the Hunt and isn't as crucial in this lineup, but...
Oh yeah, look at Alex each in the bot side. Destiny does get popped, has that gold card. He's actually dodging out a good bit of these poisons. We'll actually just go over to the other side of that wall. Meanwhile, in the mid, Acadian getting chunked out. Vermilion trying to lock him down as much as possible. RF goes into that Mega Gnar. That is going to be the sadism pot. They try to lock on Alex. He gets knocked out by that Howling Gale. Now Dardoch coming in. That's the absolute zero. They should be able to lock him in. Low Valley being taken quite low. A nice gold card connection, but he's got Merc Treads with the sadism popped with a Burning Agony. You cannot lock down that Mundo. Look at all that HP. He's just eating all of the damage output from the side of Misfits. Impactful trying to get some damage out, not going to be able to find anything. But Misfits playing such a really risky game moving up this mid side that could get collapsed on at any point by the ranks of Legendary. RF nowhere near Meganar again, is going to need that if they want to scrap out this fight. He hops away, already taken down to 70% HP. This is going to have to be Misfits peeling out.
And that could have potentially been disastrous for Legendary. The Gnar was ready to go in. Could have found the engage on 3, but Law Pally with a beautiful Monsoon to disengage that fight means neither side actually loses anything. So good support play. Good on Alex each to make it out of that one. And I mean, this game is dead even. No one went down. Lots of cooldowns burned. Neither team able to find a way in. And they're both waiting for that perfect opportunity to engage. But both of them know a single mistake could turn this game around in an instant. The 3K gold lead almost meaningless in the face of kind of superior scaling on the lineup of Legendary.
Yeah, and right now the team fight is almost entirely in their favor. You can see Dragon, the third of the game, going to be spawning in about 8 seconds. And Misfits, they don't have too much vision. They have a pink on the backside of the pit, 1 ward inside the pit. But of course, playing on the red side of the map, this is a complete setup for Legendary to just play right to the front and be able to engage this one and pull it out away from the backside. Destiny has been popped by Alex each as he comes in. That's a huge engage from Amelia, getting a triple knockup. The choppers have been thrown down by Impactful though, but all of Legendary is getting chunked out. RF will find the first kill onto Bishu. That's a massive takedown for them. Now Dardak looks like he will fall. It's a double kill going over to RF, and now they're trying to run as fast as they can, but it doesn't matter because Stixay has the boomerang blade. They take him down, and meanwhile on the backside, Alex each comes down, locks him in with a gold card and a triple going over to the Sivir. That's going to be the first dragon of the game picked up here for Misfits as they turn this game right around and get themselves the first legitimate lead.
Ramelia has made one mistake on that headbutt pulverized combo since we've seen her play Alistar.
Never
she
again.
has not made that mistake again. Exactly. She found the engage, she found the knockup, and Bishu and the rest of his team caught in a choke point they could not afford to. The wild cards coming across. Evelyn with that Agony's Embrace, able to hit every member of the team, and Stixay, the cleanup crew, wiping this team out, and it was pretty even. We could argue that despite the 3K gold lead, superior scaling was keeping Legendary in this game, but superior engages and decision-making from Misfits are now putting them at a 6.6K gold lead. It's only going to continue to grow. They got themselves a dragon, and absolutely dominating performance from them. An amazing display of confidence and team-fighting prowess here on the side of Misfits.
Oh, wow. Alberto, cheeky little play there, smiting and finishing off that Scuttle Crab, taking that one away from Dardoch. Actually playing still really far forward, trying to get these wards cleared out. They just throw another one in the bush, but going back to that team fight, huge pickups coming in from Misfits, and now look at this gold lead that just seemingly came out of nowhere. 6.1K gold on the board for them. They're up 2 towers. They're up 7 kills. Still down a dragon, but at this point, they both have that 6% buff. They are in such an advantageous position. They swung that one right on its head where it was looking so good for Legendary. That fight just cost them possibly the entire game.
We'll have to see what they do with it from here. Now, the vision control on the side of Misfits, mostly focused on the bottom side of the map right now, so you have a little bit of opening as far as vision goes. It looks like they're going to try to push down the mid lane.
Destiny getting popped. Alberto goes in, gets a very nice ultimate on the 4 members. The Monsoon coming across from low valley, but he's getting chunked out. Now here comes RF, the Meganar ultimate, pushing Dardoch back, Boomerang Blade ripping through. Meanwhile, the rest of their eyes are on to Bishu and Acadian. He has the sadism popped. He should be able to run out, but it's going to be a double kill for Stixay as they finish off Bishu. Just Dardoch and Acadian, the only 2 members alive, and that's going to be Misfits starting up the Baron. Dardoch actually not going back. Oh no, it's a surrender vote as Dardoch runs into the pit. They're giving up the first game. Legendary just looking to go straight forward into the second game, disregarding this one and maybe coming back in with a new plan in the picks and bans to try to tie up this best of 3 series. But Misfits coming out huge with a victory.
And Misfits busting out a strategy we have not seen from them yet. Obviously very quick to adapt to new changes.